I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great. It's great to be here.
I wanted to ask you if you could take me back in time and tell me how the band became a reality.
Man, it honestly it was like a bit of a it wasn't like like most bands I feel like they form through like a friend group of friends. They just sort of
Mhm.
get together and start jamming. But with this one, it was really different. I started. I mean, I've always been a huge power metal fan, and for me, power metal was like the big thing. Proggy power metal, it's just my jam, you know.
Mhm.
And so during, I think it was during COVID, I was like, there wasn't much happening, and I started writing some songs, and I had some songs on my hard drive that I sort of was thinking like maybe one day they'll happen, whatever. So I started like looking for people who could help me, and I found some guy. He recorded guitars, and he basically made it through the whole song, and he it sort of fizzled away. I don't know. He just kind of left it there, so I had to
Mhm.
find somebody else, and then the same thing happened again. Another guitar player recorded most of the first song. The first song was "Eye of the Storm," and then it kind of again fizzled out, and I don't know what happened. It's hard to get a project like this going, you know.
Sure.
So and then a third time the same thing happened, and I was like, damn, okay, like this is gonna be hard, you know. And in the meantime, I had found John, who was a friend of a friend, who also had his own projects, and I think at that time he didn't. I don't remember if he had any projects still active. Um, and then finally, I was like, okay, last ditch effort. I'll just make a post on one of those power metal sort of Facebook groups for like sharing
Sure.
and Dimitri messaged me and he was like, "Yeah, let's make the freaking album. Let's do it. Let's go for it." I was like, "Okay." And then he did the song. He like finished it, the solos, everything, the lead guitars, rhythms, everything. And I was like, "Okay, like we're in business. Like
Right.
this is the song, you know." And he recommended that I check out Constantine, who he also prior, I think a few years at that point, they had been in Majesty of Revival, um, and they already had a few albums under their belt, like on their own side. But I think at that point they hadn't been in a band together in the last few. They could correct me on this, but so yeah, so we already had like sort of a core, and
Mhm.
I put the bass on the first two singles. And when we released the second single, that's when Sam, I started posting it on social media and stuff like that, and that Sam saw that he's like, I like this. If you're looking for a bass player, let's do it. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, like, and yeah, that's how the team sort of got assembled. Like again, it wasn't like, sorry, it wasn't like a sort of like high school buddies just jamming it out or something. It was a lot of luck of like finding all these people at the right time, and it's also like part of the DNA of the band in terms of like how this first album came to be, because like I said, I had just songs on my hard drive and I wanted to get them out, but I didn't have enough. I didn't have a full band, and I didn't
Mhm.
have enough songs for a full album when I started releasing stuff, which is, in hindsight, a bit of a, I don't want to say a mistake, but I would have done it differently. You know, like if the circumstances had been different,
Mhm. Sure.
um, it ended up that we released like more singles than I anticipated, and then when we did the album, it's just like all the singles plus some more stuff, you know, which is not ideal, but this formula, and with the long distance and like the everybody having regular jobs and everybody sort of doing their own projects, it ended up working for us in terms of like getting the motivation to keep the momentum,
Sure.
which is like really hard. Like if you've ever been in a band, that's like the number one thing is keeping momentum, keeping motivation, keeping your players interested in the project. That's really really hard.
I wanted to ask you, was Turn to the Light a working title, or did the song provoke the name for the album?
That is a good question. Um, well, when I released the song, for me, I in terms of like what the song is about, I really struggle writing lyrics. That's really hard for me. Um, so this song is about it's sort of like about the TV show Lost. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what it's about. Like the island, the light is like at the in the last season. There's like a light in the middle, it's I don't know. I didn't really know like what to write the song about. So that's where the inspiration for the song name came from. And when I was gonna release the album, I was like, oh, what should we call the album? And my first idea was to call it a book of tales, sort of like we have all these different songs and like pages in a book,
Sure.
and and we're putting them all together, and it's kind of like the Grimm brothers, sort of the book of all the different. That was the first song, but we talked about it as a band, and I like the idea of Turn to the Light better because, like I said in the blurb that I wrote for the album, is like it's the first song that all the band is together, and it's really, to me, it's still the quintessential Godspear song. It's really like it has all the elements, like the growling bass lines with Sam's playing is phenomenal. Dimitri's guitar parts are incredible. The drums are just like complementing. It's just a
Sure.
unity, and we're really getting into the sound. It's the first song where I'm really learning to work with Constantine's voice, so it's starting to sound better. More backing vocals, more choirs, strings, and everything. It's a long song. It's like all the elements are really starting to fall in line, if I can say it like that.
Mhm.
So it's really sort of like the model, I guess, for like what's to come in the future. And yeah, it just made sense to call it like that. It just like for all these reasons, it just that's yeah, it works.
And a track that really stood out for me was Distant Shore. I
Yeah,
wanted to ask if you could speak on that track.
yeah. It is a controversial track inside the band also. I will say
Mm,
that. When I wrote it, I wanted to write sort of a Blind Guardian song. On the later albums, they have a lot of songs where there's like, apart from the chorus, there's no repeating riffs. Like,
mm,
especially on the Night at the Opera, I'm thinking of like, and then there was Silence, obviously, but also like I think the Soul Forge is also like that. There's not a single riff that repeats apart from the chorus, and there's a few, like not all songs are like that. So it was just sort of like a personal challenge to sort of like imitate that style. And it's a big song. There's a lot of parts. Personally, it's my favorite, but I understand why some people might not like it because it's very dense and there's like a lot going on. There's a lot of parts, guitar leads with choirs at the same time and stuff
sure.
like that. But I just really like that song. I think it's a song that deserves, in my opinion, at least like a few listens before actually like getting into it. Like if you listen to it the first time, you're gonna be like, okay, there's a lot going on. I'm not sure where the hooks are, but like
Grab it. Yeah.
listen to it, I think you'll appreciate, or I hope at least you'll appreciate more. But yeah, it definitely takes a few more listens. Yeah,
Yeah, that track in the end of time really stood out to me. I really love the tracks and the musical structure of them. I think,
yeah.
especially Distant Shore, to me, musically is phenomenal. I mean, I
Thank you.
listened through it and I just think it's absolutely brilliant from top to bottom.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like I think it's probably the song that I worked the most on, just because again there's like so many riffs in there. There's like apart from
Hmm.
the chorus, and there's like a lead at the beginning and at the end. And there's another thing that I try to do is there's okay, so there's a there's a lot to talk about for this song, but like I try to reuse some of the melodies in other parts of the song. So like during the chorus, there's a guitar lead that's sort of like in the background, and that melody is from a piano concerto by a composer named Rimsky-Korsakov. Okay, it's the only piano concerto he wrote, but it's the opening melody. It's sort of like adapted to fit like a four-bar structure.
Hmm.
But this melody, if you listen closely, it comes back in other rhythm parts elsewhere in the song. And I tried to, and there's like the intro part where the vocal starts. There's like a clean guitar part, and that riff is also repeated later in this. So like no, there are repeating riffs, but it's always different, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah,
Sure. It gave
yeah,
me almost it reminded me of a track. I don't know if you're familiar with Rush, but Rush
yeah.
had an album called Burner Waves, and the last track on the album was called Natural Science. And it
Okay,
reminded me of that track structurally.
Okay, I'll give it a listen. I mean, I know Rush obviously. It's like the most famous Canadian prog band in the world, but my sort of knowledge sort of stops at Images and Words, and is the only album that I have and that I've listened throughout. So yeah,
Hmm. And, and I wanted to ask you as well, what are your lyrical inspirations?
man, that's a tough question because, like I said, I'm not I don't like writing lyrics. I'll just say it like that. And
Mm,
maybe it's not a good thing to say publicly, or I don't know, but I I, I really struggle, and I try to always come up with a story. I well, yeah. I think some like the lyrical content on the album is uneven. You could say that.
hmm.
But I think on the best songs, the best songs, the songs that have the best lyrics are the ones where I'm trying to tell a story, or I'm like evolved, like something's changing through the story, and when a riff comes back, it's different lyrics with a new meaning and a sense that something has progressed. So so in terms of like content, it's more like how can I move the song forward with the lyrics? If that makes sense.
Yes,
So again, like, and I'm a huge Blind Guardian fan. It's like my favorite power metal band in the history of power metal. And what they do a lot is like draw from literature, books and movies, and mostly books, but like, the Iliad and the Lord of the
hmm,
Rings, big
yes,
epic works. And so in that sense, it provides, I wouldn't say it's easier, but it provides a more solid foundation for narrative writing, which is what their songs, like in terms of the actual music, is what they convey. Also, like their music is very theatrical and narrative, and I think
absolutely.
like meshed. If they sung about like having a great day or whatever, like or just like
Right,
driving down the road, like it wouldn't be interesting. Like it wouldn't make sense. You
sure.
know, the two work in tandem, and the sum is greater than the parts. So I try to follow that example and try to um, base myself off literature. Like the lyrics for "Where Sorrows Die" are sort of vaguely inspired by Frodo's quest in Lord of the Rings. It's
Hmm.
not like I didn't want to use the Mordor and the ring or whatever.
Right,
Also, like that's sort of what it is. You're going to somewhere, and there's a journey, and you're progressing, and that's why the song also progresses. Like the choruses are different because the first chorus is it's just acoustic, and then the second and third choruses are like uh, really metal, if you want, and
sure.
up an octave. So there's a progression there also in the music. So yeah, the themes are like I try to draw inspiration from media, books and TV shows and movies and whatever, and also or like come up with my own sort of stories, and also like as an attempt to give it momentum and stuff like that.
I wanted to ask you as well if you could speak on the album artwork concept and the artist that was involved.
Yeah, I mean, I really struggled. Well, I've been not struggled, but like, how can I say? Um, there's when we did the singles, I found an artist, and he did, I think, mostly a great job, but at the end he started using a bit too much AI, and I just felt that it took away a bit from the sort of the image we're trying to project.
Hmm.
You see all these bands nowadays that just do like I don't know what's Gemini or whatever the
Sure.
generation AI is. They take the first result and ship it. And I wanted to get away from that. So we found this artist, and he had these artworks that were already made. We just basically licensing it, but it's like there's the light, there's sort of like the inspiration of upward momentum and upward
Mhm.
motion, and the sort of like reverence and how can I say, like almost religious, like,
Sure.
yeah. And I'm not a particularly religious person, but like I think in the sense of like a power metal song where it's like there's a feeling of like uplifting and
Oh,
ascension,
absolutely.
and like when you listen to it, that's what we're trying to convey. I think the artwork has to reflect that. Yeah.
and now the album's out. It's
Yeah,
been well received. I wanted to ask you, what can fans look for next?
man, there's so like I said in my little in the excerpt that I wrote, the second album is already written, like for most part. And I mean, like we're gonna work on like my process is that I usually just write a demo, a crappy demo where I'm not a great guitar player, I'm not a great, I'm the best at writing drums, whatever. I just put it all out there in my DAW, and I send it to the guys, and they come back with like amazing parts.
Sure.
They, that's part of our process. So the album is written, it's there. It's more symphonic actually. Okay, let me start by prefacing that like things can change. So as the album is right now, it's more symphonic, it's more grandiose, I guess you could say. There's more. It's just more in general. So you can expect more songs like "Turn to the Light" and
Mhm.
maybe "Till the End of Time" and that kind of stuff. But with like more layers, more riffs, longer format. Well, I mean, those songs are already like 7 minutes, so it's not like
Sure.
that longer. But like, and I think there's a bit more complexity also in general, not to the extent that it's like progressive, like odd time signatures and like crazy
Hmm.
Dream Theater like riffs. That's not what we're going for. But there's like more riffs, and the riffs have more layers and more sort of overall complexity and longer melodies and stuff like that. So I think it's like at this point, I feel like we've really found our voice in like as a band, and like me in terms of like me writing music for this band, but also the guys when they receive the tracks, what they give back to the music. We sort of have a better understanding of like what we're trying to achieve as a band and like what is possible to achieve.
Hmm.
Also, like when we were starting out the first songs, I didn't really know how to write for these guys specifically, and I didn't really know like how much I could put in how much I could put in the songs to get a good result. And now like that we've done a whole album, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do more and I can do better and I can do like it's not that hard. It's not out of a reach to like put more layers and put like do more stuff. So yeah, I think it's definitely still power metal, but it's just a hint of progressive metal also, and catchy anthems. And yeah, I think I honestly think the second album is going to be like the best. But everybody says that every band says that like the next album is the best album, but I think this is the best album so far.
And I also wanted to take you back in time again and
Yeah.
ask you if you could talk to me about your musical development. At what age did you begin?
Oh man, I think I started like really young, learning piano and stuff like that. But I wasn't, and I've never been a good student, so I was really bad. And my parents bought this really nice piano, like acoustic piano, back in the '90s, and I started taking lessons, and I was really bad at it. I hated it. I would like lie down on the bench. I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old. I would lie down on the bench and like refuse to play and like be a little brat about it. And but somehow the idea of like making music stuck around with me. And as as is the case for like a lot of people, I think for me, music is how I express my identity as a teenager. And I discovered like especially power metal when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, this is who I am. Like I like this kind of stuff, and it's not like it sort of like helped me stand out from the others, which like as an adult is whatever, but like as a kid it's like really important. Like you
Sure,
like you gotta be your own self, and like music is like a really strong way to define that into like to like yeah to gain your own uniqueness, if you will.
absolutely.
So like I started discovering music, and tried like playing keyboards, playing guitars. I played trumpet for like 2 months, played drums. My brother had a drum set, and I tried playing drums, and I tried to get in. Well, here in Quebec, we have like a different system for university. There's like a school in between high school and university. It's just for 2 years, and I tried to get in a program for like drumming, and I was bad. I was like a terrible. Uh, uh, a terrible drummer. I wasn't good at it because I didn't practice, you know. And and yeah, so I did end up getting into music school for singing, and I started singing like opera and stuff like that. And that's really how I grew as a musician because I learned more music. I learned that there was more. Well, I already started going down that path, but like I started exploring more music beyond just metal. You know, like classical
Sure.
music, a ton of it, some jazz, some progressive rock, some like bluegrass, whatever. Like my
Yeah.
taste started to expand, and it became like the identity became less about being like into like a specific genre of music, but more about like being a musician.
Right.
It sort of grew in that sense. So so yeah, that's sort of how I got started into music. It was like it wasn't like a very straightforward way. Like some people like they start at like 10 years old guitar player, and next thing you know they're like world champions of like whatever contest. But for me, I never considered myself to be like a great um, performer, and I have to like it doesn't come necessarily easy to me. I can do it, but I have to practice and practice and practice. I
Sure.
mean, everybody has to practice, but I feel I don't. From my perspective, I feel like I have to practice maybe more than others. I don't know, but I think like where I've really found my strength is in like composing, and I've written like in a lot of genres, not just metal, but like I've written symphonies and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I it really like helped me become accomplished as a musician, I think. Yeah.
And when you're not working on music, what do you enjoy in your spare time?
Bunch of stuff. I really got into electronics over the years, and I've been just doing various like electronics project, like custom printed circuit boards and stuff like that. And I have I'll show you. Give you a second. So this is a project that I made with my brother, and it's a guitar, but it has LEDs inside of
Oh,
it. So
wow. That is badass.
and you can control it through. I don't know if you're familiar with DMX. You know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like for those listening who don't know, it's a protocol for controlling light fixtures and stuff like that. When you're at a show, you see like moving lights changing
Mm.
color, that's controlled with DMX. So this is like fully DMX controlled. And if you go to on my YouTube page, you can see demos where I play. Well, my friend plays some Godspear, and we're syncing it up to this music. So this kind of stuff that I like to do. Like I like to keep myself busy.
It takes me back, that guitar takes me back to Ace Frehley memories.
Yeah, I think he had one like those like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he had it was like just one color flashing, and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's he brought would bring it out for New York Groove when he'd do that
yeah.
track live.
Yeah, that's right. I actually didn't see his guitar until I saw this one. I don't know where I got the inspiration for this, but yeah, it's cool. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to find a way to get in on a real stage and like do a live show with it, but it's not as easy as it looks.
I wanted to ask you as well, now that the album's out, what's the best way to get a copy of it and any merchandise that you have?
We well, the best way to do it is just on our Bandcamp, and you can buy a copy there, or it's available streaming like literally every platform. And I think it should be coming out. No, it's yeah, sorry, it's already out on like basically any streaming platform. So yeah, you can just look it up on just Google it, and you'll find it. And if you want to buy it, the best way is Bandcamp. We don't have physical copies yet. I'm looking into it, but being a small band and there's a minimum quantity you have to order, so
Sure.
we're still evaluating if it's worth getting physical copies. But we honestly, I'd really like to have that just as a memento. Like did it?
Absolutely.
I have my album.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, my friend, if you could give a message to your fans, what message would you give them?
I'd say first of all, thank you so much. It's been insane seeing the growth of this project. It's been crazy. People have been like really supportive. We've, like giving opinions and reviews and sharing our music. And I haven't put any ads or whatever. Like it's just through organic growth from word to mouth. And it's like, it's been honestly mind blowing. Like when we started this project, it was just like me a bunch of songs on a hard drive, like I was saying, and
Mm.
now it's like there we have a band and we have an album and people are listening to it. People are commenting, criticizing, sharing, listening. Uh, yeah, it's amazing. So thank you so much for this, for the support, for continuing to follow us. And I know like the release schedule has been a bit sparse at times, but we're always working and we always want to give the best results. So that's why it's taking a bit more time than we anticipated. But stick around. There's going to be more, and it's going to be even better. I really hope you like the next stuff. And again, thank you.
And I think the word of mouth is truly a testament to the great album you created. When I heard this album and listened to it from top to bottom, my jaw literally dropped. Your
Thank you.
musical talent and the way you're displaying your talent is original and it's one to yourself. You know, it can be labeled as power metal, but then labels are useful in certain circumstances, but I like to look as a band as an individual unit, and I believe that this band truly sticks out as one in itself.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And honestly, I can't take all the credit for it. Like my musicians, they give so much. And like honestly, you should hear the demos that I put out, and then what the final result is. It's like a world of difference. A whole other song. So these guys, they're doing a phenomenal job. Like incredible, like just this creativity and adding so much. And every time I receive a track, it's like, yeah, that's perfect. It's like I have no notes. It's just good, man. It's just like
Right,
exactly what like this little note. I never heard it like when I wrote the song, but like it's there and now it lives there forever because it's perfect. So it's
sure.
like it's really like as a composer gratifying to like have other people mesh so seamlessly with your work and like enhance it in a way that's just like yeah, it's beyond words. And yeah, I'm really grateful for these guys. Like they really put in the time, the effort, and the creativity, and it's just amazing. And I think through that we're able to find our uniqueness. I really hope that like that's how we're going to achieve the unique sound that we have. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Well, I wanted to thank you again for taking time to speak with me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. It's been a fun time.
Please keep in touch with me with any new news as it comes about, and I'll be sure to
Yeah.
get it out for you, my friend.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's going to be more coming for sure, for sure. Absolutely.
And you enjoy the rest of your day, my friend.
You too. I'm going out to the Habs game. I'm going to a bar, so it's gonna be a hoot.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, my friend, and take care.
You too, man. See ya.
Cheers.